So for this one, I figured we would start from a template or previous sketch, I guess is a better word. And this is a sketch that I made for a friend to do some kind of slurpy type of textural stuff. And I think I'm going to spend the first just a little while playing around with phase plant, doing a little bit of a deep dive in designing a patch in there. And it's easy to say the word patch simply because phase plant has all these modulators, and you can link up modulation all over the place inside of here. Of course, you only get these 8 macro controls plus a mod wheel, which pretty much serves as a macro control in a way. You can automate that. First thing I need to do is some routing. I need to get audio to come from the phase plant track. So let me move these effects over here, and we'll get rid of that in a second. And I need to pull sound from phase plant for these 3 tracks. Just a little bit of maintenance. Sometimes maintenance is annoying. I'm not going to lie. A lot of times it's annoying when you want to just get up and making sounds, but it's a bit necessary also. Cool. So got nothing coming through phase plant, blank slate. So let's go ahead and add a sampler. I think that's where we're going to get probably the most dynamic sounds, perhaps. And transient shapes, humans, mouths, and harmonics. And we've got some artist type sounds. I'm thinking these scapes look pretty cool. Data loops also look cool. That sounds interesting. Kind of sounds like they just used tension and Ableton to make some of these. Very physical modeled. Cool. Well, we'll just start from there. I like to just start moving around all the knobs, seeing what's what. Oh, that's a lot of fun. All right, so let's go ahead and add a random here. This will just generate a sweet stream of, it's kind of like a sample and a hold. Although I do wish there was an iteration of this, or a button where you could just hit a note once and it would just send out one random. I guess even with a hertz at this, we'll eventually see some other random numbers come through there. Cool. Let's set this back to default, and then it seems like we're only getting, so maybe we need to pull this down to get a bit of mix between negative and well, it's got that nice old school tape kind of a feel to it. And as you can hear here, we've got this whole effects chain. Go ahead and record some notes here. Yeah, I do wish there was a function in here where a note would just send down a random. I think this just kind of runs on its own. It doesn't look like there's a reach trigger. So it should be more like a sample and hold, like a random utility. And maybe there is a way to do that, but I kind of don't think so yet. So let's add another source. We have to drag this up so that it fits inside this kind of group. And that's very loud. And let's get an envelope on that. I think we can add that to the level there. We'll set the default down to 0. And then just It would be cool if there was a lot more modules for affecting MIDI and stuff coming through, like a MIDI CC here that would let you then attach the CCs or do different random things with the MIDI CCs and attach them to various. I should be a designer. Should design something like this. I would probably drive a coder nuts with all kinds of features. Let's get a little more speed on that. And let's drop that down. It's nice, it gives you a nice wide range. I like that. Sounds almost like we're making sounds for a Looney Tunes cartoon or something. Default wavetable. I do like the visuals in this wavetable module, and just the overall look of most of the kilohertz plugins is really nice, I think. I like this simple flat style. We also have this output. I need to get another random on the offset here. This is the, I think, start offset of the sampler. And so I guess at least we have some MIDI effects we can play with. Let's give a random velocity in there. And no length. Let's just drop some really extreme effects in there. Let's see what else we can. I think we can add a mix. So this may be like a, you can mix between two sources here. Cool. Let's see if we can get some randomization on this frame here. Let's try some different wavetables. Oh, that's cool. We can actually design our own, which is kind of fun. Got some pin tools and stuff. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty powerful. Ah, I see. We select the section. And we can, this is deep. You can really get in there and tweak the snot out of that one. Ah, it's almost got a video game kind of timbre to it. Bit of a SID chip sound. I notice we have these here, these modulators. I'm really fascinated about that. If this is an audio out that you can have. I'm not actually sure. Set the influence of this param has on the modulation target. Double click to remove this. Okay, so I'm not sure what parameter this is. Perhaps something about unison. We'll leave that off for now. It's worth exploring in deeper detail at a different time. I always have to try to pick and choose my battles with these sort of closer looks at plugins and things. make a mental note. Go back and try to study this. Maybe look up in the manual, figure out what the heck is going on with that thing. All right, so we can hit this plus button and get some of that envelope on this filter cut off. All right, what I'm hearing is a need for some randomization. Let's summon with auto hotkeys our note probability gate. And I'm going to go ahead and just add in a random note chancer so we can at least have some things not repeating so much while we're doing this, because I do think that helps a whole lot in keeping the sketch process from getting too boring. Add as much generative stuff, at least in the beginning, and then commit at some point. Or just don't commit at all. I know people who like to just get as much generative stuff in there, hit record on the output, and just try to perform it and make songs that way instead of having to have everything so, you know, perfectly ironed out over here. I think a person has to be really okay with succumbing to a bit of chance at that point. And a good old scale will, I think, help rein things in a little bit. Scale after the random. Yeah, this is just sounding like a comedy show over here. Let's just do a major pentatonic. I think the filter on the frequency is always, you know, going to be a little goofball. Super useful in a lot of... Gosh, I wish we could automate this, but in my experiments, we can't automate the envelope ranges. Would be super awesome. We can definitely get a macro knob, though, onto... Let's get a macro knob onto envelope, it says. No, I don't think that's what we want. Let's hit this plus. Let's try that again. There we go. Now we can do all the weirdest nonsense in here that we want. So you can hear our little slurp machine going nuts. It kind of sounds like little alien whispers in the distance. We haven't even played with some effects inside of Phase Plant. I do love their resonator and comb filter and reverser. Those were the first kilohertz effects that I invested in. They just got so much mileage for me. I love that you can, you know, automate, well, on the actual individual VST, you can automate this. And here in Phase Plant, we've got to use a random. So let's go ahead and yeah, their reverser sounds really smooth. There's not no clicky clicks. A lot of their plugins are very smooth. I really do appreciate them for that. I think we can drive from one lane to the next. It's nice. And then we have this lane routing here. So this is lane 1. We can route it to lane 2. Lane 2 is routing to lane 3. We've got an individual. So we can at least automate these. And it is fascinating, I noticed. You can automate the polyphony, but you can't automate something like this cutoff here. That's just, I know that plugins like Guitar Rig, you know, lets you automate for as many effects as you want to drop into a lane in Guitar Rig. It lets you automate everything. So hopefully in a future version, Faceplant, you know, maybe 2.0 or something will give those pretty obvious features that most all other plugins have. Okay, so let's drop this in here. I need to just stop complaining. I always want more. Can never be satisfied. Let's get some escapes in there. Maybe a hot tub. Yeah, that sounds ridiculous. And let's add some modulation to the phase. I do like that we can cross-modulate from one modulator to the next, so we can get... Also, we can modulate this section here. And actually, let's add the envelope to here. Oops. Gotta be very precise about where you... Cool. I think we should get this macro on the sustain. We'll pull that all the way down. I find it's very easy to just really create some noisy, weird sounding stuff in Faceplant. I am enjoying that aspect of it. We've only been going at it for about 18 minutes and we've already got ourselves a bizarre sounding little patch going on here. So that's always fun. Really, when you can figure out ways to make instant gratification happen that has any kind of quality, then I think you've hit a good spot of learning. Instant gratification, in a lot of cases, especially in the sketching realm, is actually really a really great thing. Honestly, it helps it stay fun. Interesting. I guess maybe I need to double click on this. Click on that, and then maybe I'm baffled. Wubs. I want some wubs in there. Okay, we got a wub in there. Yeah. Are you gonna let me keep my wub? Okay, I guess you. Yeah. You hit X out. It's like an undo, I guess. This level down just a bit. And how about change that to ping pong? Let's try some other samples. It's nice that we can swap out and just get a feel for different things. there's a way to be able to swap out samples, you know, using some of these random functions there. And I guess we can go as far as we want with this thing. We can, let's try a distortion in there. I wish we could have individual envelopes per, you know, it looks like we only get this final stage. Maybe there's a way to make, I guess we could have multiple outputs. I thought about that one. It looks like it goes from this final, like we're kind of going all down through here. That's nice. We can add an offset there. We'll send this to lane 2. That is quite gnarly. And I think if we want to move this out under the other output, we can do that. We can have a lot of layers in there. So let's get some modulation going here with our bias. Pretty strange. All right, we'll send this through lane 1, I guess. Oh, this sideband is interesting. I'm not sure where that goes. I've got some auxiliaries. Oh, and maybe we can send audio down into here somehow. Let's add a little note. I guess we can mess with the center here. We could oh, that's odd. Well, maybe then we can at least modulate that. It's too bad we can't modulate the center and range. It makes no sense. So let's use this then to modulate. Maybe release. It's very juicy. All right, I'm going to try to see if we can get some of these other slurp layers to be a little more obvious here. I want to get an effect on this crackle thing so that only when there's audio coming from phase plant do we actually hear the crackles. And I think that is a a gate effect will work. Ah. With this kind of piece of music, if we want to call it music, let's say sound design, music, same difference, right? Would be a fun little intro, or interlude between, you know, actual songs. Okay, so let's... Cool. So this will only open up when our phase plant layer do pre-effects. I think that'll mean only the audio coming out of our instrument. So anytime this is orange, we're not getting sound through, supposedly. You can see when we hear the instrument, we see this gate opening up. So that's... Let me pull this out of the group and mute the group just so we can... Much better. I wonder if there's a way in here... Wow, this is looking beastly. I don't think we want this aux. Not yet. See, we have groups, and it would be cool if we could have different... Wow, it gets pretty deep right there. We could have different MIDI channels only affecting different layer sections. That would be pretty sweet. Or we could filter out, like a group is only affected by a certain range on the keyboard. You know, the only way to get around that, of course, is to group this instrument here and then set up the keyboard filter that way. I guess this grouping thing is just so that we can close down different sections and work on different things. I do like that they've at least taken the time to give us some nice analog style waveforms. I can definitely hear a very nice, it just sounds very, very crisp to me. And if we want, we can send this to lane 3. I am very curious about this sideband option. And where we can utilize sideband, perhaps on some of these effects. Let's try, usually it's the compressor that's got some kind of sideband functionality. It's nice they give us our little dice button in there. That's fun. Yes, sideband. There we go. We don't need this noise or this analog for our sideband. It's a very nice attack sound, not super digital. It's kind of got a nice smooth. Of course, this fast one might be a lot more. I think we want to just. We should mute those two if we just want to hear our phase plant. I don't know if I'm particularly proud of this patch we've created. You know, I've heard worse, but it's you know, it's a fun one for a first attempt at really diving deep. First attempt in the sketch series, anyways. I do spend some time outside of these, just messing around, trying to get a feel for. But these are some interesting effects that I made. We've got two chains here, and essentially we've got a tremolo with a rate set, the exact same for each chain, except one of the tremolos has an invert. We discussed this before in one of the sketches, and you can put like a delay before it, and then you get this kind of every 1.5 seconds it's going to flip over to this side and let this delayed version come through. So you get some really odd rhythms happening with that. Maybe we could experiment a little bit. Make like a beat of some kind and play around with that in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and record a little bit of this into the looper. And I really like to pull the volume up slowly and get like a nice crossfade. I guess we could, we'll use this overdub feature. So after we hit record again, it'll overdub, and then we'll fade out our. Much smoother than sometimes I get clicks when I just hit the record on and off or whatever. Here we go. Now we'll go into overdub mode. And pull this down. And so now we've got a more seamless loop. The other way is to pull it out, and then you can doctor it up, you know, over here on the timeline with crossfade, and then pull the consolidated version of that back into here. But this is much faster and easier. There we go. And this way, with it being in the looper, we can play with the pitches. Yeah, I can hear our weird delay effects happening there. Is a glassy, liquidy sounding thing from this phase plant with the I guess the samplers with all the randomization on their rates. So that's kind of fun. It fits with our slurpy effects we have in this. These are the same ones we used in the last sketch. I'm trying to at least put them in a slightly different context here. chord mode today. Sounding very, rather very islandy, I'd say. Space these out a little bit. We don't need these. I don't know where those extra notes came from. Go ahead and quantize the whole thing. I think we're going to get a lot more interesting arpeggiation stuff happening. Now it sounds like one of those Farfisa organs. I just need a little cheesy Farfisa beat. Cheesy Farfisa. I think that's going to be the name of my new pub, where we just play weirdo experimental music till the cows come home. Down to the cheesy Farfisa. All right, let's sidechain this slurpy system. What if we were to try to attempt to make a cheesy Farfisa beat? I don't think it's very hard. I think the analog has all the components you need. We just need that little clavy sound, and we'll be on our way. Yep, that is not the clavy sound I was looking for, but here we have ourselves a beat, and we've got some noise, Farfisa or Wurlitz or organ type of beat is going to be a little more stock sounding. Let's pull this volume down. And we can split this thing out using our nifty note filter. And let's go. A lot more old school classic sounding. We can turn off these and just maybe try to play with some noise on this little hi-hat maybe. Which filter is this noise running through? I guess it's got its own. And it uses amp 1, I see. Maybe a tom? Toms are pretty easy. They're so tonal that usually just a sine tone will do. So let's turn off the noise there for now. And let's try a shape. Even though I just said sine tone, I think it would be fun to see if we can make a shape work. Sure we've got this thing in the right spot. Yeah, it looks like it. Minus 40. That'll do it. I want that tail. All right, maybe back to the sign on that one. Kind of reminds me of this old Casio Tone PT1 keyboard that I had, very first cheesy little synth that I ever owned. Whoops, we didn't want to delete our beat. Don't delete your beat. It's my phrase for the day. Want to be modulated so badly. All right, we'll modulate you. Yep. Sometimes these knobs, they speak. They speak to me. Modulate me. Please just modulate me. Yes, they sound like old geezers. Don't know how, but they do. Sound like old geezers. Okay, let's keep it weird, folks. Keep it weird. Let's try that doesn't seem to really do much. Yeah, it's like our oscillator 1 is, and maybe our Alright, I will modulate you too. Whether you like it or not, octave. And let's get some of this excess tail. Two. let's try a little bit of... Although I guess these don't count when you have them linked. Both of them assume the same one. So, okay. If we want the Haas effect, we just have to duplicate this. Turn the filter off on both of these. Don't really need that. So, I'm going to go ahead and save this as my default. Yes. So I want it to load up like this every time. So let's try that again. Yes. Nice. And unlink those. Haas effect is one side is preferably 0, but this is as low as this goes, and then the other side is... And you can get some nice, like, the sound is behind you, the sound is slightly to the, you know, left or one side behind you, in front of you, above you. It's a really cool, and as I pull it up, I like to automate this in a long way so that we get these sounds moving through the spaces in our head and our ears, and that to me is a lot of fun when we can give sounds that life, make them feel alive by having them sort of crawl around, slowly moving across the span of time. So deep. Nice. I do like this piece for being minimal at this point. You know, there's a million ways from Sunday we could spin this piece into oblivion if we want. A lot of people find that limited amount of options daunting. I find it freeing, I guess, but I've spent so much time in the void there, mucking about, dorking about, that I find it, all the infinite possibilities, just a lot of fun. Plus, I don't, with sketching, I don't really care to have things go a certain way or be, you know, if I want to be, I'll spend some time making a bee. If I don't want to be, you know, don't have to make a beat. Okay, so I wanted to go ahead and play with this. Not want that reverb. It's Control-Shift-4 is my tremolo. Yes, okay, so let's make it 3/8, and then we'll set the time delay. Well, we'll just leave it at 500. Since our tempo is 104, this 500 milliseconds is going to create some odd timing, and then we will just drop another tremolo. We need to up the amounts, yes, and let's go ahead and give ourselves a sharp shape. Let's set the normal on the second one to invert. So that's way, when this one is down at its lowest peak, this second one will be up at its highest peak, thus letting this affected version of the incoming audio through. You can kind of hear it affecting the beat a little bit. The trick, though, when you build one of these is you have to delete it and then undo to make it come back. Or Control-X and then paste it. And when you do that, it reinstantiates it, and it sets these to be exactly in sync because they were instantiated at the same time. Otherwise, they might be slightly out of sync if you don't do that. When you restart your project, obviously all of your timing things start from 0 and so in this case, these would be in sync. I want to go ahead and let's adjust this rate. I'll map both of them to the same knob. And also my delay. And I think I want to go ahead and actually let's unmap that. I want to go ahead and set this to sync. I guess we also need to have this wet dry on to really hear the effect. And let us map the time. There we go. And it kind of glitches it out a little bit. So here is the beat without. Sounds a bit lo-fi. Sounds like and so this just works passively because we've got this tremolo kind of swapping between these two. If we wanted to get really weird, let's see, we could actually group this and set it to, or let's see, we could have a second one here that is set to half rate. There's ways to, like, you can have multiple stacked versions of these, and we'll get into that some other time. It's definitely something I probably need to explore a little bit more on I've done it before, but I don't remember the exact recipe in my head, which is always the trick. And I suppose we should probably have, a dry chain, so we can sort of fade in and out of this silly effect. We'll make, yes, I was like to push wet at 100%. And the reason why I pull these off of the 0 is so when it's down to here, if you got a really loud sound coming through and these are on the 0, you might hear a little bit of that come through there. So this ensures that when you're at 0, 100%, you don't get bleed. All right. Oh, we need to map this to here. Dry up to wet. Very good. And we'll just call this odd delayer, and we will move this into our Racks 11 folder, which I really need to consolidate into the main one of these days. Old chap, old sport, but not now. That's a level of maintenance that I will do when I'm on the toilet or something. I don't know. Come on, admit it. You all have taken the laptop into the bathroom with you and messed around with me making music on the toilet. Come on, right? Or am I the only one here? Let's call this old, cheesy, farfeezy beat. Now, we could use with a bit of a like a solo kind of thing. With those old Hammond or whatever Farfisa type organs, they usually have like a chord section and then you've got a whole other top layer of keys where you can do, you know, solos at the same time. And of course there's a bass thing with the feet. Alright, that is just a random, ridiculous jumble of notes, but we're going to get some probability on these. Let's click on that lane there and just randomize that, yes. And let's get another layer of tone here. Add some bite to the bass. And I want to move some of these notes around just so that they fall more on the... It almost sounds like we've got a drunken hipster doing just the bass, you know, and then we've got somebody else on the... Alright. Drunken hipster bass. Getting to use my... It always takes me a while to remember that I have hotkeys to pull up certain things like analog, because we've been using this one so much, and I adore this synth. Turn that bass down just a wee bit in your face. Let's pull that one in. Kind of a sad, sappy piece. This is the, you know, we've been drinking, we just got dumped by a girl. Drinking too much wine. Just got dumped. Emo. Solo. Let's give it some chance there. Because there's always a chance we'll get back with her. We need Tom Waits to be singing for us. That would be, you know, really funny. We'd need some piano for this piece, but can't have everything. But, you know, in a perfect world, we would have Tom Waits crooning. Well, more like scraping. I don't know. His style of singing is a bit so intense, but I think I'm going to pull or push the probability chance of that one way up. Let's see, do we have any saxophone solos? Oh yeah, that's not what. There we go. This is where we need our soloist. And then throw some reverb on that, and just get this thing to play for us every 4 measures or something stupid like that. I love that we can pull this out past the length of the clip. That is awesome. I need to tune this thing up. It's a bit I don't know where this sample came from, but I'll pull it in. I'll pull it into the project for us. I need to come up with a few synths. And we could drop that down by 3, maybe. Do fun things like, well, let's pull this section up here. Oh yeah, where's our drum and bass beat? And the thing needs like a filter, some kind of... done a bunch of delay, just wetting it up, make it, just drench it. And we could always, you know, pull in a, yeah, maybe not every repeat every 4, maybe every 6. Let's try that. And now that I think about it, I don't think we have a decent, drum and bass beat. We've got a lot of IDM stuff, which is yeah, why not? Yes, probability, and kill the we have like a little bass sounding thing in here. I think I'm gonna just go ahead and mute that one. Just kill that there, and also we don't need looks like our melody's off anyway, so cool. Our cheesy drunken bass. No, this is our drunken hipster bass. Maybe a little bit more tail. We had such a mellow vibe going. Why did I have to go just like bring up the party again? You know, did somebody just show up with a bunch of meth at this party? This sad, sappy. Say no, kids, to meth. Sounds very lo-fi. Making it sound lo-fi. Wow, we've got pardon my mess, folks. And honestly, this spazoid beat doesn't sound totally offensive with the melodies we have going on here. We're gonna space this one out even more. Yeah, we need like the cheesy vocal. Oh yeah. Where's our cheesy?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know if this is salvageable. Just copy and paste over the same, and we could pitch this thing. First, let's loop it. An option here. We gotta work it together. And then loop to 8. And then let's dive in there with our transpose. Clip and transpose. Yeah, we probably want to offset these so that when we hit play on, we're at 12, I see. So maybe we'll do 12 here, and then this one. Tuning vocals isn't rocket science, but to get it to sound really good, you know, it takes a bit of I think I need to pull this in to like happen very often. I'm hearing it needs to go up one note maybe. If we want, we can explore a little vocoder. We can pull from, say, our just got dumped solo, or the 8 analog maybe. I'm thinking this one, hipster party. Reverb on this. So yeah, we'll do 12 out on that, and so the sax and the voice. Sax. When you name them titles like this, drum and waste. There we go. Oops, you need to be shortened a little bit. So let's make ourselves a marker and perhaps sometimes every now and then 12 note up grain delay can sound kind of drum and bassy. I mean, I wouldn't write home to my grandmother about this drum and bass attempt, but oops, what am I doing? Goodness, just hitting random buttons here. Also, reversing this could sound probably maybe a little better. So doing a little filtering, kind of alienize it a little bit. So it's got some vocal quality, but it's also turned into something a little bit more odd-ish. All right, let's summon a reverb. We really need reverb on everything. Why am I not just using a return track for reverbs, you ask? Because why the hell not? I tend to like a lot of different types of reverbs. So for this, I would almost want to try different pitches here. One could be like a -12. We could do the follow action thing and have it just kind of cycle through them. So next, after we play our clip, clipping 12 length, let's just give that a shot, see if we... Yeah, these... beats need some boom. Yes. Dubby. Okay, gotta love some dub. Yeah, John Scott Dumb solo. I'm looking at you. Looking at some echo for you. Pull the probability of this last note down. And let's also automate the attack on that. Cool. That's all we need for that, I believe. Well, we went from a Pierre Bastien type of song. This has some very Pierre Bastien style. Very dry, very centered, very, sad. He would have a nice little solo going on, like or an actual instrument. If you haven't heard of the artist Pierre Bastien, highly recommend his stuff. It's all very simple, cutesy. He builds these devices, these little creature machines that make a lot of sounds for him. They're kind of motorized, and they make a lot of cool beats, little percussions, little sort of like acoustic sounds, and then he'll layer on like a little, like a clarinet solo, or it's very, very sad, cute and fun sounding. Like I could almost imagine a guy on the side of a road with a dude, in downtown Paris somewhere, with a table full of these cool things. People are dropping money into his hat, and as he's got his little automatons making a lot of cool little beats and noises for him. Pierre Bastien, yes. And we've gone from that to like a, I don't know, cheesy drum and bass knockoff. Yes, I haven't forgot about the echo on the beat. This one, I think we can do 100% wet, and we will put a high pass, EQ8 essentially. Okay, so we don't have a lot of bass tail coming through there. Further shape things. Oh, we can play with the mod, of course. And the wobble, like this. Gotta sort of warm it up a little bit, pull out some of the high end. probably too much reverb on everything, but that's usually where I leave sketches. Pretty wet, just like a wet painting. And then usually when I go back to them, I'm like, oh, hey, a little too heavy on the verb. Curious now what a little tremolo will sound like here. It just kind of cuts it up, really. Automate some of this, get these drums kind of tuning themselves slightly generatively. Maybe not cool enough for a hipster party. You know, too much fun. Can't have too much fun and call yourself a hipster. It just don't work that way. Ah, yes. Let's play with that. Thank the good lords. They fixed that automation bug in Ableton 11, that nasty, stupid bug. They fixed a lot of bugs. Ableton 11 is, man, it's like did they all just take a big, long, stupid break for a few years with Ableton 10 and just lays out? Or maybe they hired some awesome new coders who have their shiznit together. And I know this kind of thing exists because I work in video games and there's a whole development team, and sometimes we just have phases where we don't have good developers and things are really sloppily done and there's just problems galore in our games. And then some years it's just so awesome how some developers are just really on it. Yeah, we need that dub in there. So let's give ourselves a lot more. Jumpy, very groovy. I like that. Maybe we could automate the groove a little bit so it can sort of get some of that straight groove switcheroo there. Yeah, if we pull this off the old grid, I think. Come to think of it, here we go. Farfeezy, yes. We don't need, I think, the kick from this one now, and we could obviously turn that off, or we could just EQ up. This is the lazy man's way here. See, bad development. I get to talking to ranting about lazy developers, and here I am doing lazy moves. All right. Just mute these. Fine. Fine me. Okay, so this hi-hat up in here. Yeah, we need some more dub on this layer. And I do love this fade setting and playing around with the sync, as we can get a lot of cool rhythmic oddities this way with the beats. There we go. Now we've actually got, and we could, you know, we could fade the wet and dry off. We could have 2 delays in a row kind of doing different things. To have this beat kind of fade in and out a little bit. So I'm going to give it like an odd 1.5. And we'll put this before the delay, so we'll get some delay tails. And we can have some really interesting, you know, tight sort of some of these kind of subtle metallic-y obsessed with dub for whatever reason when I was a kid. I guess a lot of it was coming on the radio during this one show that I really loved. I mean, who's to argue with the dub reggae masters? But I had this, I think it was Bill Laswell CD as a kid, and this Axiom Ambient CD that was just like so much reverb and echo. And I think what really captivated me was that sense of space. Being able to close your eyes and, you know, back as a kid when I still had imagination, being able to just lay there and in the park or whatever, stoned out of my mind, of course, and just go off into these places, these distant, far away places that felt so freeing and like, you know, not a care in the world there. Just like these, you know, I was watching a lot of anime back then too, I think. I feel pretty lucky that even growing up in a terribly dinky southern Midwestern type of town in America, that I actually still had access to a lot of cool stuff, media-wise, even before the internet was really a thing. I think we all were back then. Now it's just sensory overload, which is an amazing thing as well. I mean, access to so many documentaries about places around the world, like North Korea or whatever, that we'll never be able to visit. All on the internet. I love that. It's just a lot of noise to wade through. So all right, cool. I'm done with my cheesy drum and bass nonsense here. So, it was fun. We started off completely far away from this, and then, you know, didn't take long to get into a fun space that for me is pretty nostalgic in some ways. It's this hipster party, hipster dub party, I should say. God knows, you know, dub music is so hip. It will always be hip. At least the original old reggae dub. Always be hip to me. That old shit. Alright, cool. Well, it even looks good with our video somehow, so yay. Mission's accomplished. Alright, until next time, keep it weird, keep it fun. Stay safe, don't do meth. All that good stuff. It's been fun.